Hi guys, in this video we're going to set up some controls. We're going to start off with the foot control in this video, and then we'll go on and do some of the other more basic controls over maybe one or two more videos. So what I want to do is cover sort of the basics, and if you want to add any additional controls onto your character, then that's up to you. That's going to be based on maybe some additional kind of more custom feature controls that you might have for your particular character if it's got things like antennas or stuff like that. So I'll cover the basics, and then you guys can adapt these ideas to suit your own models. So we're going to concentrate on the foot in this video. The foot controller is probably one of the more complicated controllers because it has some additional attributes added to it. Let's start off by creating a circle curve from the curve tab. Now these circle curves are pretty commonly used with rigging for creating little control handles and so on. And the reason that they're really good is that they're actually an enclosed curve. They don't have sort of any opening on them, which means you can't really pull them apart. So they'll keep their shape pretty nicely. So having created that curve, that's going to be sort of, just on the grid somewhere. What we want to do basically is just place this curve underneath the foot. Okay, generally speaking, I always start with the character's left foot, and then what I'll do is sort of duplicate this across to the right hand side. Okay, so I've got my curve underneath the foot, and I'm going to pop up here and hit the select by component type. This is F8 on the keyboard. On a Mac, you'll probably need to click this button here, because the function keys are actually set up as media keys on the Macintosh usually by default. Okay, so I've got those control vertices selected there, and I can sort of move them around. What I want to do is reshape this so that it looks a little bit like a foot. So I'm going to bring these three vertices down here, and I'm going to take the three at the front and move those sort of that way. And then I'll take this one over here and sort of bring it this way a bit. I'll bring this one out. This one sort of in a little bit. And I want to create like an instep in this area here. So I'm just going to bring those around so it looks a bit more like a foot. Like that. Okay, now don't spend too much time reshaping these, okay? They don't have to be accurate. It's really just to give your animator a little bit of an idea of what this control handle actually is going to control. So if it looks like a foot, they're going to assume automatically it's probably going to be the main foot control. Okay, so when you're done, you can just switch back over to object mode by clicking the select by object type or hitting F8, or even right-clicking on the object and hitting object mode. Okay, so what we now want to do is get the pivot point for this curve, which is just here, onto this joint, the ankle joint. And that's where our ankle IK handle is as well. So I'm going to hold the D key down on the keyboard, or you can hit Insert on a PC. I'm then also going to hold down the V key, which is Snap to Points, which is this button just here. So I'll activate that, and then I'll drag the handle onto the joint. Then you can release all of those keys, and now basically our pivot point is in the same position as the ankle. So at this point what I want to do is I want to grab this handle and freeze all the transformations and delete the history on it. So we'll go to Modify, Freeze Transformations, and then Edit, Delete by Type, History. Now at this point I want to remind you guys not to use Delete All by Type. If you use this, it's going to wipe the history on every single object in the scene, and when we're rigging, that's something that can actually break the rig. Okay, some things require a history, and it's important at this point to differentiate between these two options. What I want to use at this point is Delete by Type, and we'll just get rid of the history on that curve. All right, so Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to create some additional attributes. So I'm going to pop up to, I've got the curve selected, I'm going to pop up into the channel box and go to Edit, Add Attribute, just here. Now, in here in the long name, what I'm going to do is type in foot underscore twist. Okay, I'll just hit enter, and I want to leave this as a float data type just here. And I'll hit add, and that's going to add it in just here. Then I'm going to type in foot underscore roll. Just hit enter and hit add. Then we'll go, once again, we'll go, let's go toe underscore tap. And we'll add that in. And let's see. I think we'll also do a heel. So we'll just hit add there. So we've got a heel control. So what's that? We've got foot twist, foot roll, toe tap, heel, and I probably want an ankle twist in there as well. So let's type in ankle underscore twist. Let's hit enter and add that in as well. Okay, so that should do it for all of the custom controls here. Now, some of these you're probably never going to use, and some of them you probably use a lot when you're doing walk cycles and things like that. And that's predominantly what these are. Most of these are for. They're actually to help you out keyframing walk cycles and things like that. Okay, so let's just close off the add attribute for now. Okay. And what I want to do is basically duplicate this and move it across to the right hand side. So I'm just going to go to Edit, Duplicate, and then what I'm going to do is using Snap to Point again. I'm going to bring the duplicate across and snap it to the ankle on the right hand side. And I want to set the scale for the X value to -1. And what that's going to do is flip the control handle across the x-axis like this, so that it's now a mirror image of this. And then what I want to do is freeze the transformations on this one. So we'll go Edit, Modify, Freeze Transformations, and that's just going to lock all of that in. Okay, so now we've got all of the translate and rotate values zeroed out, and we've also got custom attributes on both. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is just rename this. So this one's going to be called foot control. Let's put in a left at the beginning. So left foot control. And this one here obviously is going to be called right foot control. Like that. Okay. So what we're going to do now is we're going to actually connect a lot of this together so that it's functioning. Now I'm going to do this on the left foot. You guys can repeat the process for both feet. Okay. Now this gets really confusing. All right. There's going to be a lot of kind of going back and forth between these IK handles and moving pivot points and things like that. So we do need to be quite aware. Now I've done these setups previously before, and I've actually got a screen capture of my setup that I use just here. So this is something that you guys can do yourself. You can take a screenshot of your organizational hierarchy once you've done it, and that'll give you a reference, a quick reference later on. So what we're going to do is open up the outliner, and you can either do that here using the preset, or you can go up to Window, Outliner, just here for a floating window. Okay, And what we're going to be doing is, we are going to be adjusting some of these IK handles into groups. Okay. Now the IK handles, you can see them. I've got the right ones here and I've got the left ones over here. And then I've got the 2 foot controls down here as well. So all of the left IK handles at some point are going to end up under the left foot control. And then obviously when you repeat that for the right foot, those are going to end up under here as well. And there'll be some groups, such as group, not this group, but you'll have something that looks like this. You'll have a few of those. So let's start off. The first thing I want to do is grab the left ankle IK handle just here, and I want to group that handle. So I'm going to go to Edit, Group, which is Control or Command G. Okay. So when I hit group, you can see items grouped successfully, and it says group 2 up here. It's going to put whatever number it's up to behind this. What I want to do is call this the left heel control. So I'm going to put in left heel control and hit enter. Okay. And you can see that group is just there. The next thing I want to do is I want to grab the left foot IK and the left toe IK, and I want to group those 2 together. So that's going to be these 2 IK handles, and we're going to group those. So I'm going to hit Command or Control G. So they're both grouped now, and I'm going to change that group name to left toe tap control. So it's going to be left toe tap control. Okay. Then what I want to do is grab both of these groups just here, so you can see the left heel group and the left toe tap control group that we just created. I'm going to grab both of those together, and I'm going to group those 2. So I'm going to hit Control or Command G, and you can see it's going to pop them under a new group. Now what I'm going to do here is hold down Shift and click this plus, and that way I can see all of the items within that group. So this new group is going to be called left foot twist control. So left foot twist control. Then I want to group that group, the left foot twist control group. So I'm going to just select that and hit Control G. And that one is going to be called left tiptoe control. And then I'm going to, oops, let me just pop a space in there. Then I'm going to group this one. So Control or Command G again. And I'm going to call this one left ankle twist control. Like this. So when we shift click the plus, you can see that hierarchy there. And this basically is the same as this. So we've got, at the moment, we've got the ankle twist, which is there, ankle twist. We've got the left tiptoe, which is left tiptoe. Left foot twist control, left foot twist control. Left toe tap control, left toe tap. Then the left foot IK and the left toe IK. Then the left heel control, which is there. And then the left ankle IK control. Now the pole vector hasn't been added. This is for the knee. And we don't have these connected to the left foot control curve yet, which is just here. So that's what we're going to do now. So what I'm going to do is use the middle mouse button. I'm going to middle mouse click and drag the ankle twist control group on top of the left foot control curve. Like that. So now they're all appearing under that foot control. Like that. And what you want to do is repeat all of that for the right hand foot, or the right foot. Okay. So the next section, just to finalize the setup of this, is probably the most important section to get all of this to work. Every time we create a group, the pivot point for the group starts in the middle of the grid, which we can see just here. Okay. Now what we need to do is make sure these pivots are in the correct locations along this set of joints. And this is where things get really, really tricky. Okay. So we're going to work through one of these groups at a time, and we're just going to make sure that the pivot points are in the right spot. Now, once again, you'll have to repeat this for the right foot. So I'm going to start off with the heel group, which was the first one that I created. So the left heel control group. I need to select that, and you'll either have to hold down the D key on the keyboard, especially if you're on a Mac, or you can hit the insert key on a PC. I'm going to hit insert because I'm on a PC, and that's going to activate edit pivot. Now you can also get to that under the tool settings just here. You can turn that on. Okay, so the heel group that I've got selected needs to have its pivot point positioned on the foot joint just here in the middle of the foot. So I'm going to grab this handle here in the middle, and I'm going to drag it onto that foot joint, like that. The next group up, which is the toe tap group, needs to also have its pivot point placed on the foot joint. So the toe tap group gets dragged to the same foot joint as we just did before. The foot twist control, which is the next one up, gets its pivot point positioned onto the foot joint again. So that's going to be just there. The tiptoe control, which is the next group, as you would expect, gets its pivot point placed to the toe, being a tiptoe. And the ankle twist gets its joint, its pivot point placed onto the ankle joint up here, like this. So once you've got those set up, what you can do is just hit edit pivot again, or hit the insert key, and don't forget to turn off the snap to points. So I'm just going to run through the functionality of what those things do. Okay. Now I'm having a look at this at the moment, and probably it's going to be best if we don't have the foot control pivot sitting right on this joint, purely because some of the other pivots are on there. So what I'm going to do is switch on my geometry for a second. Okay, and I'm going to grab the other foot control as well. I might grab the other one first and then this one. And just holding down the D key, I'm just going to move the pivot point back down sort of to the bottom of the foot, and I'm just going to pull it back to where the heel would be. So let's say my heel is there. So this is the heel on the model itself. Okay, and that's just going to make sure if I'm dragging the arrows, it's just going to position both foot control pivots in the same spot. Okay, so let's take a look at what each of these does. So the first thing we've got is basically the foot control, and what that's going to allow me to do is basically tap the foot like this. It's also going to allow me to twist the foot like this, and it's also going to allow me to pick the foot up and move it around like this. Let me just turn off the polygon there for a minute. Okay, so it's going to let me basically generally move the foot around. Okay, the ankle twist is going to allow me to rotate the ankle around. Okay, and you can see that it'll also shift side to side. Okay, the tiptoe is what's going to allow me to lift the heel of the foot up off the floor and go right up onto the tiptoe of the character, like that. The foot twist is going to allow me to basically pivot the foot from the middle, but generally speaking, that's really going to be mainly like this, side to side, like we're squashing a spider or something like that. Okay. The toe tap control is going to control the toe tapping like this, and then the heel control is going to allow me to lift the heel of the character up without moving the toe. Okay. And what we need to do is basically connect each of those to the controls that we've created in here. And we can do that using the connection editor. So what I'm going to do is go to Windows. Let's go down to, where is it? General Editors, Connection Editor, just here. And what I want to do is go from the foot control. So I'm going to select the foot control and hit reload left. And you can see those custom attributes there. And then what I want to do is grab each of these in turn. So I'm going to grab the heel control just here. And this primarily is going to be rotating on the X axis. Just here. Actually, no, it's not. Let me just grab that heel control again. Okay, so the heel control primarily, yeah, it's going to be the X-axis. Okay, so I'm going to select that group. I'm going to hit reload right, and there's my heel control. And you can see that I've got translate, rotate, and scale. What I want to do is expand the rotate out. I want to select the heel control just here, and I'm going to select rotate X like this. Okay, so when I select the control handle, if I grab the heel value just here, middle mouse click and drag, you can see that it dials that foot up and down like that. So it's actually adjusting that value. And that's basically the process. All we do is go through and connect the rotation of the specific group to the controller that we've created. So let's grab the toe tap control. Okay, and then on toe tap, I've got the toe tap group here. We'll reload that in over here. We'll expand the rotations out on left toe tap, grab the foot controls toe tap control just here, and what we're going to do is connect the X rotation up again. Most of these pretty much are going to be always the X rotate, and some of them may also be the maybe the Y rotate for some of them. Okay, so foot twist. The foot twist control is the control that allows us to do this, and that's going to be the Y axis. So I'm going to grab the foot twist control, hit reload right, grab the rotate, grab the foot twist control that we've got here, and grab rotate Y. And that's going to connect those together. Then I want to grab the tiptoe, and I'll want to reload that in, expand out the rotations, and grab my now tiptoe is one that I don't have on here. So you can see here on the control handle, I don't have a tiptoe control. So what I'm going to do is grab, let's have a quick look here. I'll grab the handle and I'll go edit, add attribute, and I'll add a new one in. So I'll just call this tip toe and just OK that. That's going to add it in at the bottom. I'll just have to make sure I've got that selected and reload left, and that's going to add it in. I've still got tiptoe over here, so I'll grab that and I'll hit rotate X, and I'll test that out. So if I grab tiptoe and I dial that up, you can see that the character goes up onto its tiptoe. Okay, so I've got ankle twist is not in yet. That's the last one that I need to do. I've got heel, that's okay. I've got toe tap, that's okay. I've got foot roll, which I don't have in yet. And I've got foot twist just there. So the ankle twist I don't have, and foot roll I don't have. So let's have a quick look here. Okay, there's probably a couple of these I don't actually need, to be honest with you. Ankle twist I'm going to use for this movement. Possibly this. Let's set that up so maybe it controls this ankle twist this way. So let's grab ankle twist group, let's reload it, pop open the rotations, grab ankle twist control, and let's set up that for rotate X. So the only one we haven't connected is foot roll. I think that was actually an extra one that I put in when I was testing, and I don't really need it. So I think we've got all the main ones in. So I'm going to close the connection editor, grab the foot, and let's just double check these. So I've got foot twist, which is twisting the foot like that. Foot roll's not connected to anything at the moment. Toe tap is going to give me the toe tap control. Heel is going to give me the heel raising. Ankle twist is going to give me this one. And then tiptoe is going to give me this one. Okay. I think that's all we need. So the foot roll one's probably a bit of a an extra that I don't need. So what I'm going to do is show you guys how to remove that. So what we do is select it and we go edit, delete attribute, and that's going to get rid of it out of there. Okay, so what you need to do is the same thing on the other side, so we can delete that attribute there. So connect everything up the same way on the other side of the character, and that basically is the foot control sorted out. Now don't forget, you can still rotate the foot control like this, okay, using the main handle. You can place the foot in any direction that you want. You can see that it'll kind of translate across like that, and that's also the handle that we use to get the character to walk. Okay, I'm going to leave this video here because it has gone a lot longer than the other ones. But that's the basic process for setting up the ankle. And that's really the most complicated connection of all of them. In the next, I'll do a couple more videos showing you some of the other connections. And most of those you'll be able to work out how to do any additional connections that you want. So I'll leave this here and I'll see you again soon.